Okay, so now that I've been really involved over the last couple of weeks with the families that I serve and the families in Facebook communities that I interact with a lot of other moms, I'm learning a lot about some of the challenges that are coming about. Even though you may feel like you're thriving, you're finally into a groove. We're on week 3 in San Diego of the lockdown period. So a lot of you have really gotten into a system. You're figuring out things that work, figuring out things that don't, but maybe the routine still isn't quite feeling right for you. This episode is for you. So this one is the working couples routine idea. I'm going to outline a set of recommendations on things to be mindful about. I'm going to actually give you a sample schedule, and then I'm going to follow it up with some ideas about different ways that could be done as opposed to the schedule that I outlined for you. So I'm really going to pack in this one with some really good ideas. It's a good episode. If you are not married or you're a single parent, I have an episode coming out for you too. Just stand by. This one's for working couples. The single moms or the single parents routine idea one will be coming out in the next couple of days. So you may even want to check into all the episodes and see if it's already been published by the time you're listening to this one. Hop over there if you're a single parent. But for now, let's dive in for couples routine ideas. Hi, Melissa Dillon here to interrupt the show real quick to let you know that the second edition of our COVID-19 Ultimate Family Plan has now been released. Go to raisingkindness.org to download your copy of the second edition, which is packed with a step-by-step guide to helping you find clarity and calm in your routine going into the second week of the lockdown period. Also, a huge list of resources to help you through gaining that clarity and calm that you're seeking, and also homeschooling your children, managing work, all that stuff. So please go to raisingkindness.org and download your copy of the second edition today. Now, let's dive into the show. We're replacing the More Time Loving Mom Life show right now with support to get you through this, feeling like you're continuing to thrive in a life that you love with your kids. Let's do this. Okay, so before I dive into the actual schedule idea that I have for you, I wanted to give you a couple little gentle reminders. So I know, especially us moms, we can really be hard on ourselves when we mess up, or if we feel like we've messed up. Maybe we feel like we weren't very productive. Maybe you feel like you were too frustrated with your child today. Whatever it is, be kind to yourself. We're all under a state of a little bit more stress than we normally are used to. We've been uprooted out of our regular routine and put into this situation that's outside of our control. So you can't control everything. Be gentle with yourself, be kind to yourself. And the reality is that we've all got to make do with what time we have. So everyone in your household has 24 hours, but now all those hours are being shared completely together. What a great opportunity. There are going to be very, very few times that you're going to have this in your lifetime where you have multiple weeks where you're all under one roof and get to really have the opportunity to get to know each other on a deeper level and show your love together by supporting each other while you have a lot of important things that need to get done. So before I get into the routine, let's talk about a few things that are going to help you enjoy the time that you do have with a feeling of more balance. So, number one is you need to be mindful of your required sleep, especially right now. If before the lockdown and before all of this ended up happening with the coronavirus outbreak, maybe you only needed 7 hours of sleep. But are you noticing that maybe you might be feeling a little bit more bogged down or a little bit more run down with the same 7 hours of sleep? Recognize that your body's under stress and that you may need more sleep than normally required. So just pay attention to what your body is telling you and see if you maybe need more sleep. Some ways that you can get a boost of energy that'll help you get more energy instead of getting more sleep, maybe you can be mindful of the way that you're eating. So, mindfully eating healthier and setting a regular routine of your meals together as a family can help you get the proper nutrition that you need to have that boost of energy as opposed to maybe relying on the frozen foods a little bit more often. I know that we've been leaning on it, and evidence shows in the grocery stores with all the empty aisles of frozen foods, it's just everything's been cleared out. We're all relying on the frozen food to make the best with what we have. We're also cooking a lot more too, which is very great. So you can have a nice balance of maybe having some of your meals where there's a frozen side and a fresh main course or vice versa. Being mindful and planning your meals and having a better idea of a routine together will help you feel like, okay, I'm filling my cup of with the loving attention that I need to give and get from my family, and also filling my belly with the healthy stuff. Number three is keeping in mind the requirement for active play, not only for your children, but also for you. So your kids are used to having 2 playground sessions at least while they're at school, where they're getting a lot of energy out. But right now, being at home, they're not getting that. So being mindful of the required physical activity that your body and your children's bodies need right now. If you guys all come together as a family to have a routine where um, you're all getting that exercise, then that's going to give you another boost of energy too. So keep that in mind as well as you're working through your routine. Number four is keeping in mind your child's schedule as you sort out your routine. So on average, this routine is going to be based on younger children. I'll tell you that now because the younger children, frankly, are the ones who need more attention, right? Your older ones, they can be a little bit more independent, but the younger the child, the more often they need their cup filled with that loving attention from you. And if they're up majority of the time or half the day, because kids ages 3 to 5 need at between 10 and 13 hours of sleep, and children that are ages 6 to 13 need 10 and a half to 11. So I'm averaging out that you have about 12 hours per day that your child is awake with you. Your children are awake with you. So realistically, taking that into account, taking into account the healthy meals and using that opportunity as a family to fill your cup, taking into account you need to pay attention to your mind and your body right now under this time period of stress. The reality is that you only get about 7 hours tops for your work, especially if you don't really have too much support or help. But the routine I'm going to give you today is going to really help you and your spouse feel like, okay, we feel empowered. You have a routine that's working, and you both can get that good, focused, undivided attention for solid work. So this takes some real teamwork. Are you ready? Okay, let's do this. So this sample schedule is based on taking into consideration that there's an opportunity for one of you parents to wake up about an hour or two earlier than the rest of the family, and or there's the opportunity for one of you to, or both of you for that matter, to go ahead and take a shift of working after the kids are in bed for about 1 to 2 hours, okay? So that means that when the 12-hour period I was talking about is only it's having a slightly shorter work period during the day. This is not an 8-hour work day, because I know from the feedback that I'm getting from many of you, though your supervisors may like you to work 8 hours, they also understand it's not a reality. But worry not if you're listening to the schedule and you're like, that wouldn't work for us. Um, I am going to give you some other ideas about other ways that this could be done. Now, one little thing I want to mention is that this schedule also does not take into account your non-negotiables. What I mean by that is that the two of you, parents, need to get super clear on what each of you must get done, and the non-negotiables where you actually have, say, every day at 3 o'clock, you have to meet with your supervisor on a conference call. Well, that's a non-negotiable unless you talk to your manager to figure out a different time. But for all intents and purposes here, if you have non-negotiables, you guys need to come together as a team to show your love together and show, I'm here, I see you, and I want to support you. How can I help you get the things that you must get done and your non-negotiables, and how do I need you to help me? So opening that conversation very clearly, proactively, will empower both of you to go, yeah, okay, I'm loving on my wife, I'm loving on my husband, and I'm supporting you. And you guys have a very realistic expectation versus not being clear on each other's schedules and then not being able to support each other. Okay. So I'm going to reference this as parent number one and parent number two for ease of conversation here. And I'm also going to be publishing this in the ebook. So go to raisingkindness.org to download the latest version, and then I'll send you the updated version, the fourth edition, with this schedule published in it. Okay. So, parent number one, you can be the early riser working 1 to 2 hours before everybody gets up. And then at 7 a.m., 7 to 9, that could be your family time. So this is when everybody's waking up, breakfast is being made by parent number two, and then you guys are all sitting together to enjoy each other, fill your cups with dedicated, loving family time. And then at 9 o'clock, this is when the real routine begins for everybody. Parent number one, you go ahead and retire back to the office or wherever your workspace is, continue working for another 4 hours. Then from 9 to 1, parent number two, you get to enjoy the fun stuff with the kids. The active stuff revolved around homeschool and playing and outdoor activities, prepping lunch for the family that's going to happen at 1 o'clock for your lunchtime. You're doing all these things with your family. And this can also be a really great opportunity for you to get morning outside time and exercise time. You could do a workout that you two enjoy to do together. This is your time together. And then you can also do your chores together too. So you could get some housework done between 9 and 1, parent number two and the kids. You guys could band together to get some good housework done. And then at 1 o'clock, from 1 to 1:30 is your family lunchtime. So you're reconvening together, enjoying a meal together, and maybe catching up on some little things you want to share together. And then at 1:30, that's when we're transitioning into a quiet period. So I love implementing the 2 hour quiet period in my house. So whether there's a nap or not, we're having some coloring time or painting time, mellow music going. The lights are kind of dimmed down. Everything's just chill. And this is a really nice time for the transition. So parent number one, you've been working all morning. Now's the time where you start to ease into taking over with the kids. And parent number two, at 2 o'clock, you're retiring to get to work. So I hope that makes sense too. And if there's a nap time here, if you have nappers at home, this would be a great time for both of you to get some good work done while the kids are asleep. Or what I recommend is parent number one, decompress, enjoy some me time, or both of you can enjoy some me time before the transition begins. So taking that time to have that me time will help fill your personal cup with that much needed brain relaxation when the kids aren't so demanding and taking you away from your own thoughts. So does that sound nice or what? And then from 2 to 6, parent number one, while parent number two is working, then parent number one, you get to enjoy the play and afternoon snack, and you're on dinner duty, so you're prepping dinner. And maybe there's some things around the house that you and the kids can work on your honey-do list or whatever. And then and do your own exercises with the kids because the kids need 2 exercise times, remember? So you guys both get to get some good active play in your own way. And then at 6 o'clock, all screens are on break. No one's working. 6 to 7:30, this is another family time. So you can do game night or whatever fun stuff you want to do. Have dinner together. Do your bedtime routine. So this is an hour and a half of dedicated family time where everyone's working as a team to get the kids to bed at a reasonable time. Okay, forgive me. I got interrupted by my family. So, all right. So 6 to 7:30 is family time and the dinner bedtime routine, enjoying that time together. And then parent number one is putting the children down at 7:30. Well, from 7:30 to 9, parent number two works. So this does incorporate that early riser and the evening time. This is a schedule if your supervisor has expectations about producing with that many hours. Of course, if you have management that is allowing some leniency, awesome. And this is a schedule where it's open to flexibility, but I just wanted to give you a really good idea about the split schedule because this is what we're doing in our house. And of course, as you can see, case in point, we have a 4-year-old. He's going to come in and he's going to interrupt every once in a while, but that's okay. I just dive right back into it, just like you can too. So 7:30 to 9, parent number two works. And then after that, so important, come together as a couple and try to have some date night time a couple times a week. And you could still do date nights at home, just going to throw a couple ideas out there that my husband and I do. We'll break out the chess board. Do karaoke. We'll play other games together. We'll enjoy some time together, personal time together, and then get to bed at a reasonable hour so we can rinse and repeat for the next day. Now, some ideas, if this schedule, you're like, this doesn't work for me. I wanted to give you some other ideas um, that you can incorporate too, is splitting work across 6 days instead of 5 days. So if you feel like you still need some more hours than what I'm giving you here, you could extend it to 6 days. Maybe you don't have as many hours as I'm giving you here. You could extend it to 6 days so that you can have less hours for each day. However it works for you, just trial and error. I also didn't include TV time in here. So you could leverage that TV time. The recommendation widely is that it's about 90 minutes a day. That is the max for a child, and it's less if you have a younger child. You can do a little bit more screen time for older children. But I mean, let's face it, sometimes you're just going to lean on a little bit more TV time. Some days you're not going to have any TV time, other days, but leverage that too to maybe incorporate some time together, as maybe you just need some rest time. Maybe a movie time could be great for your family movie night, or during the rest period, you're relaxing to some relaxing TV time together, or they're doing some TV time while maybe you have your own screen time doing some computer work right next to them. Whatever it is, you can incorporate that too. I didn't include that in the schedule, just throwing that out there. Another thing that you could think of is, I already mentioned this. Yeah, creating work and play periods. Oh, nope, I didn't mention this. So create work play stations. So maybe um, you can weave into your schedule where your children are doing homework or schoolwork right next to you at their own desk while you're getting your own work done. So it could be mommy, daddy, family, work play period time. That can happen too. And I didn't mention that as an option. Now, ultimately, I'm going to repeat what I said in the beginning, is this is a time of heightened stress and your regular routines have been upheaved on you. So just continue to make the best of what you've got and be open-minded and pay attention to your children's cues to see what's working for them and what's not working. They're going to be a little more emotional if something's not working. So just ebb and flow with that. It's no sweat. Just show them love and go, okay, this wasn't what worked today. Let's try something a little different tomorrow. And pretty soon you're going to have it nailed. And sometimes just going to be different some days, and you get back into the normal routine tomorrow. No biggie. So just continue to remain calm, be unattached to the expectations, and just do the best that you can while continuing to take care of yourself with plenty of rest, water, healthy eating, and enjoy this time together. Thank you so much for listening. Please do subscribe if you haven't yet so that you're notified of future episodes. Talk with you next time.